Foregen, is it an Intactivist group or not? Well, this answer is getting increasingly hard and muddled. First, let's define an Intactivist group, because this has no hard definition, so I'm going to go ahead and define it in this video. Intactivist is a person that is against circumcision of any non-consenting person and is willing to talk about it publicly. They advocate for intactness. Okay, so does that work? Does that definition work? Great, works for me. Let's strip out emotions and talk about the pros and cons of being associated with Intactivists. The general pros are you have access to eager men and women ready to help you out and push your project. You should be able to access stable groups that also identify themselves as Intactivists. Intactivists are also amazing at spreading news. The general cons of Intactivism is that they are a tiny portion of the population. They are considered by many to be radicals, and they're very cautious. So, has Foregen displayed or said any non-Intactivist behavior? Yes. One time, of course, and it's in their mission. It says, Foregen is not an activist organization and has no legislative or political agenda. Right there, that is what people point to and say, oh, look, Foregen is not an Intactivist organization. And the issue is you really don't have to do that much digging because it's literally on the front page of their website. Very, very easy to see and read that. So, the genital autonomy community loses their mind, like Brett Johnson, leader of Cockfight, Brother K, leader of Bloodstained Men, James Lowen, and so many more. Even David Candela, who is the master in my eyes of research and brings things to my attention, he even repeated what Brett Johnson has said, which I will once again get to that point later. If you think, oh no, Intactivists and Foregen's bridge is still well intact, you are just over-exaggerating. No, this isn't right. Well, let me tell you, like most Intactivists, that bridge is not actually intact between Foregen and Intactivists, and I come bearing evidence. If you look at this chart here, you can combine all the members of Foregen that they have in all their social medias, which, by the way, no other group does. But Bloodstained Men, Intact America, Your Whole Baby, and even Doctors Opposing Circumcision, just their Facebook alone beats all of Foregen's supporters combined. And you can even combine Foregen's Discord as well, because they only have like maybe 1,000 people in it. Most of these groups in this chart have about 3 times the amount of members Foregen has, even though Foregen's been around for like 12 years. So I would say Foregen essentially burnt their Intactivist bridge. All right, and let's go ahead and play Brett's clip. This is going to be sped up, so listen quickly.
And then also there is the sort of a glaring omission from Foregen's website where they don't say anything against infant circumcision or, the forced circumcision of minors. They don't say that they're ethically opposed to that. So there's a conflict of interest. If they're not against the circumcision of boys without their consent, and there's a conflict of interest. Yeah, because there was also some talk of them converting from a nonprofit to a for-profit company. So if they end up being a for-profit company profiting off of regenerating men's foreskins, yet they're not opposed to, seems like they're only gonna become more profitable the longer circumcision continues and the more widespread it becomes. They're only going to benefit more. So there's a major conflict of interest. They need to come out categorically against the circumcision of minors and not make any religious exemptions. In my view, for me to take them seriously or consider them to be an ethical organization. So.
Whoa, Pot. See, this is why you should be on the Intactivist team. And Foregen messed around and they found out. But let's talk about some benefits of Foregen working with secular people. And once again, just strip out the emotions from it all. So the pros of working with the secular crowd that are not Intactivist related is that you're going to have a lot more people to appeal to. So you're going to have more donors to draw from, more scientists, resources, etc. You're going to have the money motivated investors. You're going to have cheap tissue sources from every type of tissue, which would save money. You would seem less radical and get diversification of approvals from a wide array of people. And cons is you would make most Intactivists mad, but some would probably still follow you because some Intactivists think that Foregen is not an Intactivist group and they still follow them. So this seems okay on paper, right? But hold up. Foregen has made 5 articles and an FAQ saying that they're against infant circumcision that I could find. So here we go. Right here in their FAQ, does Foregen use neonatal tissue or embryonic stem cells? No, Foregen has never nor will it ever use human cells or tissues derived from any source other than consenting adult donors. So no, they are not using infant foreskins at all. If you go to their newsletter, September 30th of 2022, it says scientists must engage with the ethical implications of their work. Foregen's chief science officer Eric Cunningham has recently published a comment in Springer Nature's International Journal of Impotence Research detailing how scientists must reckon with the ethical implications of their work. The comment is a response to a previous paper published in the journal that cited Foregen's work. This here is only what we can read. I don't have the subscription. Okay, you can read that. That's a lot of big words for me. I'm not reading that. Also, Ryan Jones made The Sanctity of Life, Compassion in Buddhism. And look, they talk about how, let me move me real quick. They talk about, yet in today's world, the country still faces pressure from outsiders to change, and not just in the realm of politics and commerce, but also infant circumcision. And look, see, this is about Buddhism and how it is about infant circumcision and how they're against it. Now, why would Foregen post this if they weren't? But you're like, that's not good enough. Okay. Letter to Discover Magazine, Ethical Considerations, September 8th, 2021. A recent article from Discover Magazine caught our attention, but not for a good reason, unfortunately, titled Why Human Foreskin is a Hot Commodity in Science. Anyways, you guys can go ahead and click on this and you can read it. However, there's an article that's going to prove this way quicker, all right? Oh, look at this. Crucial dissent went unreported. Circumcision stakeholders in Africa. Now, why is Foregen reporting on this if they didn't care about infant circumcisions? Circumcision in Africa, crucial dissent went unreported, and they're going to be talking about circumcision in Africa. And they literally made a whole paper about this and how they feel about the push for circumcision on children, and they're not encouraging it like you would assume, so like how Brett said, but they're not encouraging it, they're fighting against it. Oh, and look at this. Is circumcision a fraud? Now check out this. This is what was written. MGC is literally and legally assault with a deadly weapon and battery on a child, on a baby, on a precious, unique, and private part of the body. So as you can see here, this is what Foregen wrote. So clearly, this is them standing against it. And also with Brett being like, oh, well, they should be against religious circumcision as well. Well, look at what they put. Foregen said, U.S. Supreme Court held in Prince v. Massachusetts in 1944 that parents are not allowed to expose their children even to the risk of physical or psychological harm based on the parents' religious beliefs. There you go, up there. So look at that, guys. So they are even saying that you shouldn't circumcise even if it's for religious matters. Once again, if you guys want to read all of this, you guys can just go back to January 7th, 2021. This was published by Foregen staff. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this was done by Peter Adler, who, works for Foregen. Look at that. Yes, also, they do work with other Intactivist people, such as Eric Klopper, Carter Steinhoff, Ryan Jones, Peter Adler. So they've hired a lot of Intactivists people before, and many more as well. I probably haven't named. Also, they've worked with other Intactivist groups before and promoted Intactivist events as well. See, I feel like Foregen had a fork in the road, and they could go the Intactivist side, or they could go the secular side, and Foregen was like, let's go here, right here. This is where we should be driving, or maybe you could just go real left or real right into the trees, because the benefits of working with the secular world seems to be crushed because Foregen scolded them and called them unethical, like an Intactivist probably would, which I'm sure would push most secular investors or interest away. But they also made Intactivists upset as well by not stating it clearly enough that they're against routine infant circumcision. So what do I think Foregen is? I think Foregen is a biotech company with Intactivist morals because they speak out against infant circumcision and refuse to use any tissue that comes from underage people or unconsenting adults even. They even go further and scold others from using infant foreskins for science and other purposes. If that's not an Intactivist organization, I don't know what is. But granted, Foregen doesn't seem to want the Intactivist label for some reason. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. So, Foregen, if you care to answer this question, what are you? A bio company that just gets distracted with other foreskin issues, or a biotech company that is an Intactivist group? Because no matter how you slice it, I feel like you've proven yourself an activist group and also a legislative group because you talked about the laws and how you want it banned and how it's medical malpractice. So I feel like you should probably just remove this and just say Foregen is a pioneering research organization dedicated to creating options and hope for circumcised men. Because if you say that, you're not going to have people that are Intactivists that go on your website and read for all of, literally, like you read for all of 30 seconds and you get to this part and you're like, oh wow, those bad people. Can't believe them. But hey, you know what? What do I know? I'm just Potts. So anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Bye.